You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
What is up, punters and dribblers? You may be able to see Edward Simpson leaning into my camera. That is because he is texting, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm just letting you know why it is. If you're watching, you might be able to see him.
I was texting my wife.
That's exactly why it was fine.
Ella.
Yep. Love of your life.
Love of my life. Mother of my child, Suki Simpson.
Yep.
One of the greats.
Yep.
Shout out to her just for being fucking cute as a rugby league button.
Can we be dad influencers? We were discussing this in the green room.
Yeah, we were. Like, I feel...
And that by that, I just mean we want some free shit, right? Like,
well...
I don't know what dads need.
What does it?
Fucking time off.
Holidays.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a travel company and you're like, these DILFs need to get away and play golf and drink tequila and drink 4 pints and smoke cigars. I don't know.
But also, Eddie, it could also be a thing of this. These dads need to get away with their families. Yeah. And so we're going to send them away on like DILF trips.
Yep.
Because we're going on a DILF trip next week. You, me, Streety, up to the Goldie, Streets fighting. Yep. We're getting a house together. Maybe you put together some DILF family packages that you send us on and we'll document them across every platform, and including our sports podcast platform.
And just show you what's possible. Yeah. I mean, because what you're staring at right now is two DILFs in the prime of their lives.
2 DILFs with the years of a couple of DILFs as well.
That's right. We've got the year of the DILF. We are DILFs with the year of the DILF. I mean, I can road test a pram for you for the right fee.
To be honest, when any DILF or when any expectant DILF comes to me with like, you know, hey, I'm about to be a DILF, like, what should I be looking for? We're going to spend all of the money that we've ever fucking earned on basically DILF necessities or parental necessities. But we're talking to DILFs right now. I tell everyone I ever speak to, the most important thing you're going to buy is a pram, or be given in your instance, Edward, is a pram. And one of the things that I think is absolutely key when road testing a DILF-mobile pram is the ability to maneuver that bitch with one hand. You want it to just be fucking seamless. You want it to be on the blower, have a grumpy coffee in your hand, whatever it is, and you just want to...
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And I think that's where 2 DILFs in their prime come in.
Yeah. Experience,
in your case, but I'm also in that newborn phase, so I know what new fathers need, right? And you're gonna get an honest appraisal that's up and down.
I guess it's a crafty veteran and the new wonderkind.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
That's the synergy you need. Whilst we're rolling, whilst I'm thinking about things that DILFs may need. This is a DILF reaching out to big automobile.
Yes.
Big automobile. Let me run you through my predicament, big automobile. Whilst I've got your ear, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is a couple of DILFs in need.
Yep.
I'll tell you my need, Tom will tell you his. So, on the weekend, went down the Southern Highlands. Heard of it?
Yeah.
And I got a bit of kit to move now.
Yeah.
Kids got kit that needs moving. Now... First problem I come across is I got to get a pram down there. I got to get me missus down there. I got to get my
pram first.
Well, it was in the front seat. And I'm moving back through the car.
Yeah, okay.
Right. I got to get my child down there. Suki Marilyn, shout out to you, and my dog Tonka. Right.
Did you say pram was in the front seat?
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Now I've got a ute. And it's no knock on utes. I'm a huge fan of utes, but you run into a problem when you've got a house dog who's not a big outdoorsy dog. I can't put him in the tray.
He's huge.
He's not a tray dog.
No, he's not hanging out the back on a fucking highway.
He's not a Kelpie, mate. He's not a fucking...
He would fucking have a heart attack.
He'd have a heart attack. He'd go, what in the fuck? So he's got to be in vehicle. Now, obviously he's not on the back seat, right? And so now I've got to put him in the back. Now, when you put him in the back, Tom, what you'll find with a big dog is that you need room in the back part for a big dog and his dog bed, right? Because where else am I going to put the dog bed? Because we're coming away on a weekend. He needs his dog bed.
Does the dog bed fold up? What sort of dog bed are you running?
It's like one of those sort of like ones that just sit on the floor.
Could you swag it?
You could swag it, but I'm getting somewhere, right? He's got to be in the back anyway. Now, Ella's in the back seat with Suki because she's young and she needs attention sometimes. Maybe the dummy needs to go back and whatever. Maybe a soothing pat. Where am I going to... Where now do things go? Where do the bags go? Yeah. Where do the fucking prams go? Like, I need a big vehicle that's got a bit about it, right, that I can put... I'm now thinking of the future. I need to put roof racks on there with a pod, but I need something with substance, bit of mongrel.
Listen, I'm going to put forward a vehicle to you, and
put one forward.
Tobler, please bring up the Kia Rio. I think that's what it's called, or the Kia Sportage. Now,
is that enough car? I thought they're a bit small.
Cars. Well, I'm not sure which car. There's a Kia something. Kia Carnival. The Kia Carnival.
Are you talking...
Bruh, these things, I got to be honest.
Are you talking like the old Tarago?
To a degree, but not. It is Tarago in its size. The Kia Carnival, dude. Every motherfucker, get it in black. Get me a Kia Carnival in black. You feel like you're driving around an Escalade, but it's like an Escalade for dads. It's not a bad style of a... You know what I mean? Wait till you have 3 of the little fuckers, mate. You got no room anywhere. I know you got a big dog, which is something I don't have. I don't have a gigantic generational fucking
But you've
Rottweiler.
got 3 kids.
Just can we now get a bit of a look at the internals of what... Because with a Kia Carnival, I've been led to believe, you can
You've got Kia on the mind.
This has been pushed on me a few times. Well, like all the mums that fucking pick up have this shit.
Okay.
Dude, but you can maneuver that whole setup around. You could take out...
Am I correct in saying that's an 8-seater?
It's an 8-seater. You can remove seats. You can configure the seating how you want, I believe. So you could take out the lane. You could have a fucking aisle like you're on a plane. Like you can move all that shit around.
I like the aisle seating.
They're humongous, dude. And also... price competitive, I believe it. Could you get me the...
Well, we wouldn't be paying for these.
Well, no, of course not, but I am now doing an ad for Kia Carnival because I assume we will be hearing from them in the not-too-distant future. $64,000, $74,000. Listen, they're not the cheapest car on the market, but they also aren't that expensive, considering how much car you're getting.
Exactly. So what we're saying is it could be a holiday, it could be a car... It doesn't need to be a Kia. It could be a Kia. It could be a Toyota. It could be fucking Land Rover. It could be whatever.
Well, listen, I'm just saying...
It could be anything.
Listen, I know that you've now pushed us back into the cars we really want, which is your Toyotas and your Land Rovers and your Defenders and your Rangies and shit. I get that. What I was just saying was for a man who's looking for a bit of car, the Kia Carnival, not my... first choice, but like a lot of car there.
There's a lot of car there.
There's a lot of car.
I'm not going to sit here and deny how much car there is, particularly the aisle seating.
If Kia reached out and said, listen, we want to give you a Kia Carnival, are you going to look a gift Kia in the mouth?
It would depend on the terms. You know what I mean? You give it for me for a week, am I getting it for a year?
Well, I would assume that you're getting it for a year. Like you're going to become a Kia Carnival ambassador.
You would assume. Listen, I mean...
I'm just saying. Because then if you go back to your Toyotas and your Land Rovers and your Ranges and shit, which obviously that's maybe a bit more we're hoping for here to reach out. Like we're hoping Range Rover hears this and reaches out.
Well, we're hoping that you and I are like we're Land Rover caliber.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the.
But maybe we are Kia caliber.
Well, we're definitely Kia caliber. Are we Range Rover caliber? That's the question on everyone's lips. And I don't know.
Everyone listening's asking that question.
Yeah. Or they're answering it.
Yeah, or they're answering it. Are they Land Rover caliber, these blokes? Have they got a bit of Defender about them? Have they got rangy about them? I don't know.
Even just a big, fat, good, honest fucking rugby league Toyota Pajero.
Pajero me up, Buttercup. Yeah. Pajero me up.
They look pretty fucking nice, dude. I'm not a car guy either. I love a Pajero.
Like, listen. This won't shock the punter and the dribbler. If we're talking Toyota Land Cruisers, the big thick bastards, I don't need the tray. Give me the real McCoy. Give me the big fat thing, you know?
Which one?
Like I don't
no, we don't need a tray.
I don't need the tray.
No, I'm not having a tray,
That's
Edward.
what I'm saying.
No, well that defeats the purpose. Where's Tonka going to go? He's not a tray dog.
Exactly. Like, do I need 1 million Ks guaranteed? Yeah, probably.
Well, I'm going to do a lot of driving.
Listen,
the
I'll
Highlands.
also take a cruiser with a funnel. Why? Because I've got a bit of fucking...
Well,
maybe in my DILFness, I've got a bit of four-wheel driving about me.
Maybe I accidentally reverse it into a pond.
You and me full driving would be hilarious. Trying to winch ourselves out of a
There
fucking
you go.
gully
Here we
and
go.
shit.
We're coming up with ideas, deliverables.
Could you imagine if you and me...
DILFs on patrol.
DILFs on patrol and we went and took on like the Great Northern Track or whatever the fuck
dude.
it's called?
Four-wheel DILFing.
Four-wheel DILFing. You and me. Just you, me, and the road, baby.
Yeah.
Imagine us trying to winch our way out of trouble. We'd be loving it.
We'd be loving it, dude. And I'd obviously, you know, I mean, we'd do our best. It'd be hijinks on the open road. We'd need cars, though.
Maybe we'd take on a beach, let the tyres down so we don't get bogged.
Well, that's it. We would. We got to let some air out of the tyres. No, you don't use a knife.
I just want to have my own pressure gauge on me.
Yeah.
Have you got a pressure gauge, mate? Yeah.
Of course we do.
Yeah, I do.
Let me get that out. Because, yeah, sure, dude. Get some fucking outdoorsmen to do outdoors shit. Who hasn't seen that? Get Andrew Eddinghausen, a fisherman, to do some more fishing.
right.
How about you give it to a couple of DILFs who are likely to fuck up?
What about this? Think about this. Oh, you just want to sell shit to people that boat, camp, and fish already? What about getting the rest of the people into the boating and the camping and the fishing, and now you're selling to the fucking newbie?
Exactly.
Now you're selling to the newbie.
Sure, it's pretty fucking easy to get a guy who loves boating, camping, and fishing
to buy a reel.
To boat, camp, and fish.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the guys that don't?
Okay, instead of competing for the slice of the pie, buy a new pie.
Buy a new pie.
You've been selling beef pies your life. What about chicken, baby? Chicken pies are good.
People like chicken pies, man. That's all we're saying. And we would like...
And we have the keys to the chicken pie. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, we do. We are your keys to the chicken pie here. Cody, could you please do me a massive solid and bring us some more tequila when you have a chance?
Because we're on. Boys are on here.
Boys are on. No, I'm all right for us, thank you, old sir. But it's again, obviously cars is the cars and holidays and you know, jewelry and rubies and all the finery that's the top end of town. But like shit, where else are you going to find DILFs of this magnitude? I don't know. Are there any other DILFs around? I don't know. Sure.
Are there any other DILFs around?
There's like your Hamish Blakes, but he's an unattainable DILF.
Yeah, but he's a bike rider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want to push bikes to DILFs, Hamish is your man.
Hamish is your man.
You
want to push pushies on DILFs.
You won't catch me on a mountain bike. You won't catch me on a fucking road bike. You won't catch me bike riding. You just won't.
I'm just not a big hemorrhoid guy.
You'll catch me in you'll catch me in a ute full of shit I don't know how to use.
Yes.
With a funnel on the front so I can get that bitch wet.
The car, that is. It is. I think you just need to remember that, like, DILFs across the board. Like, if you're the boat and camp and fishing DILF, you pride yourself on knowing what you're doing. But if you're the DILF that is, I think, more the suburban DILF.
You're talking to a couple of suburban DILFs.
If you're a suburban DILF, you don't know how to do almost any of it, but you still want to have it.
Yeah.
I've got tools. I want to be able to have I want to fucking go off-road.
Why do most men in this country with the room to do so have tool sheds?
Exactly right. I've got shifters.
Like, if we did a survey of DILFs in this country over the age of 50 with drop saws, it's got to be 65, 70%.
Correct.
What percentage of you are using a droppy? 1%, 2%?
I don't want to, and I'm not calling him out, but I don't want to invoke the great Timothy Dumbrell.
He's got a drop saw.
He's got a fucking full tool shed I didn't know existed at that house.
And as is his right.
Immaculately kept.
Of course it is.
I've never seen him hold a tool in my life. I'm not saying you couldn't do it, Tim. I'm a big fan of your work. You know that. I'm looking at you right now.
Mate,
you know
listen, out of respect to Tim, I've seen him with the nail belt on. He knows what he's doing.
I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing, but I also reckon he doesn't know what he's doing that much.
Yeah. The suburban DILF.
The suburban DILF who wants to wear a fucking tool belt on the job and on the job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just think about that. Next time you're putting together your pitch decks and your campaigns.
Because what you always go to the same thing. Andrew Eden, did they play rugby league at the highest level, or are they a boat and camp and fishing type?
Yeah. Is it Jamie Drury? Is it Scotty Cam?
Yeah, well, but what about
from the FNQ?
What about the Suburban DILF? Because I'm telling you right now, if you want to exclude the Suburban DILF, you're excluding 75, 80, 85% of the market.
Yeah.
And it's at your own peril.
And it's Suburban DILFs want to be better. We realise we're not as good as we should be. And sure, do we defer to the professional Suburban DILFs among us who actually build their careers around knowing what they're doing? Sure. But you got to know that when I call someone over, like my 84-year-old neighbour, Hans, who's a great man, to help lower a painting because I don't have the technical capabilities to do so, whilst it is easier for me to complete that task using an 84-year-old man who knows what he's doing, there is a piece of me, a large piece of me, that feels inferior in every way, and I would like to, as a Suburban DILF, provide masculinity for my family.
What you and I, Tom, can provide is relatable masculinity.
Yes.
Because you've been tapped on the shoulder by your mate who's a big BCFer, and he's like, we're going camping this weekend. And you say yes because you want to be one of the boys. But deep down, the moment that phone has hung up, anxiety hits. Bang. Because you go, fuck, I'm going up north, BCFing, and I don't know what the fuck I need. Now,
you immediately think to, just probably the things that the suburban dad thinks of, which isn't like, what tech am I going to need? It's like, what am I going to wear?
Exactly. Do
these Subi jeans work in the fucking bush?
Is red play on?
Can I wear red jeans?
Should I be wearing red jeans?
I don't have steel cap boots. Will R.M. Williams do? Suede.
Yeah. Can you buy steel capped loafers? These are questions that are going to question.
Could I take these things down to a shoeman, a cobbler, and get some steel caps put in my loafers?
Can I get these cobbled?
Yeah.
Up to standard, up to grade. Yeah. Do people still wear Dunlop volleys? Should I be wearing a singlet?
Yeah. Is a linen shirt going to rip when trying to wrangle bulls?
Yeah. What sort of sun care am I looking at? Yeah. Is an Akubra too much?
What about a fedora?
It's a fedora play on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is a ripped jeans, do they show a man that's been working, or do they show a man who's
pre-ripped his jeans?
Pre-ripped he's bought them ripped.
Yeah, he's bought them ripped. A pre-ripped jeans play on.
Yeah. A pre-dyed jeans play on.
Yes.
These are the questions that we can answer.
And maybe you send us out with, because it's obviously, maybe you got some insurance concerns, right? Maybe you send us out with a couple of people that are experts who, if the
train us up.
Well, if the shit was the metaphorical fan eater, then there is someone there to go, hey, couple of Suburban DILFs about to kill themselves.
I think better content if you and I go out there by ourselves with a sat phone.
Okay, you give us an emergency fucking...
Fuck yes. We have a chopper on standby to get us out of there. All those choppers scare the shit out of me. Don't know if you saw that New York footage. Terrifying.
Terrifying. I don't know how that just blows apart in the sky. Oh, the chopper just fell apart in the sky. I'm like,
fell apart in the sky. Okay.
Made out of Lego?
Right,
how the fuck does that happen?
Okay, over Manhattan. Right, okay. Right, okay.
You see the photos beforehand?
No.
The full family excited to get on the... Yeah. No amount of fucking tech understanding will save that situation. That was unfortunate. Obviously, you don't want to have that happen, but a chopper on standby is still pretty cool.
Maybe like a Westpac chopper, because those things seem to be rock solid.
Yeah, well, now you've said that. I don't want it just to be like a sheep mustering chopper.
No, because they look dangerous.
They look like a fucking bubble with a...
you got to understand that if you want the real BCF, and talk to our good friends, the Alpha Blokes, you know what I mean? That's their speed. Again, we're the Suburban DILF who wants to be involved from time to time and doesn't know what to do. So if big brands out there are picking up what you and I are putting down, then I expect the email to start ringing hot, honest and true.
Suburban DILFs just looking to try and, grow in a masculine sense.
Yep.
Now, as I just want to circle back, That can come in the form of
Land Rover Defenders.
Land Rover Defenders, Toyota Pajeros, or Land
If
Cruisers.
you think Land Rover, if you think we're up to grade, if we're ready for first grade, give us a call.
Give us a call or shoot us an email.
Are we ready for first grade? That's
surely we're ready for first grade. And listen, there's no shortage.
I'll play fourth grade though. By the way,
well, we'll also play a role, and by that I mean you fucking call the play and we'll back it. We'll do whatever you need within reason. Anyway,
DILF chat, dude. We can do it now.
No, we can do it. Sorry, whoops.
How long you been hanging out? 5 years?
Fucking 5 years, dude. I've been 5 years waiting for DILF chat. Someone to fucking talk DILF shit with. I've been sitting here by my lonesome. Oh yeah, fucking. Do you hear about Eve? And you're like, sorry, dude, I cannot relate. It is what it is. That is a reality. The next thing you'll have to deal with, and I'm only just going to say this and move on because it didn't happen, but it could have happened, and it didn't happen, and it has never happened yet. But it would be my greatest fear.
Yep, go on.
Is having your child walk in on you when you're on the job.
It happens.
It does happen.
It happens.
It's almost happened.
Yeah, it happens.
To this podcaster.
Really?
In the not too recent past, distant past.
Recent.
And whatever the
recently.
fucking, whatever it is.
Got to get locks on the door.
We don't have any.
I'm saying the only thing that, like, how else can you prevent it?
I don't know. But the idea of when it almost happened and it didn't happen, but had it happened, I don't know how a child would recover from seeing it.
Well, they don't forget it.
Honestly, there's the amount of questions I'd have to field. I'd have to do a press conference with my children. Hey, Dad, why were you doing that?
But also, there's
hey, Dad, what the fuck was that?
But there's layers to it. It depends where and how you're in.
Hey, Dad, Evie Rose, firstborn daughter. Just wanted to ask a question about what you were doing there.
Yeah, like if it's like under the sheets, you can, which it never is, by the way. But like if it was, that's different than bent over in the kitchen, right?
Correct, or fucking legs, firmly wrapped around your neck.
Yeah, well, the pile driver.
The pile driver, or a growling.
Yeah,
imagine explaining that.
A growl.
What are you doing? What are you doing down there?
Yep. What are you doing to Daddy?
Punters and Dribblers, we are brought to you by our good friends at 4 Pines Japanese Lager, and it's worth reminding you that the tickets for the Dribblers Day Out, 4 Pines Hello Sport, the tickets close on Wednesday. Last chance up until Wednesday to get tickets. Huge day this Saturday, 19th of April. The races.
Listen, they might sell out before that, so move quickly if you want to come and rip and tear with your mates Tom and Eddie and punters and dribblers en masse.
Yeah.
Members, trackside, ripping and tearing, food all day, piss all day, and you get a fedora, punters and dribblers fedora. Like, what am I missing here?
Yeah.
What am I missing here? What's the weather doing this weekend? I bet you it's fucking glorious, punters and dribblers. I bet you it's absolutely sublime. Get it up. What do you reckon? Saturday, fucking top of 27, sun emoji.
Oh,
get that up, yo. What are we talking about?
Come on.
Whip them home with us.
Shout out to every motherfucker who bought tickets to our Dribblers Day Out race day this Saturday. It has sold out. It sold out it sold out Tuesday, so this will be Thursday. It's coming out. Sold out Tuesday night. Listen, we were not in doubt. We were never concerned about selling out, but it's always nice to sell out. It's going to be one of the great days. 28 degrees, they're saying. Top of 28.
They're talking 28 and sunny. It's you don't know for sure if you're going to sell out. You hope you sell out, but when you do sell out, you look like a sick cunt.
You look like a sick cunt.
And that's obviously to our mates. A 4 Pine shout out to them.
Oh, Sebo's alarm. No, listen, it's obviously that we're able to go back to our dear friends at 4 Pines and go, couple of sick cunts over here.
Got it done, bro.
Yeah.
Got it done.
Yeah.
Got it done, bro.
If you can't make it, which is anyone who hasn't got a ticket, and shout out to those that are still asking because they were on sale for fucking ages. We are doing a hosted pot on behalf of our friends at Ned's. So that basically is where sorry, you didn't say anything. You just sort of mouthed shit and it wigged me out. Basically, if you get in the Neds app, if you have the Neds app, you get into the About Even group. The code is Dribbles to get in there. It's a private group, biggest on the platform. You get it. If you go in there, you can buy into the hosted pots, $20 buy-in. And what you are doing there is you are passing over to your two friends, Tom and Eddie here, to bet on your behalf.
Yeah, because we're elite.
And we did really well last time. We're obviously going to do even better this time. But basically then whatever's left in the
We did really well last time. We would have finished well, but we listened to the dribbler too much.
Yeah.
Part of me just goes, fuck, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let us take over.
Yeah. So that's open now. You can go and join that. Go and get in. That's obviously for those of you. Well, I mean, if you're coming along, you can still do it.
Yeah.
But if you didn't come along, if you aren't coming along, then you obviously cannot do it.
Correct.
Now, I just want to see where we're at here because the pot is open. All right. Few people in there already. Still got a bit more. What day is it already? Wednesday?
What work to be done?
Well, we want to get that number up. It's a good number, but we certainly work with more than that in terms of the amount of people in the pot. That's all I'm saying.
Get the number up.
Shout out to Neds. Always gamble responsibly.
Is there anything happening in sport, or is there anything going on? Or rugby league, is much happening there? Or?
Dude.
Is there much happening there? Or?
I think there might be. I wanted to start our rugby league conversation, Edward.
Yep.
Let's
start it.
No, but
Consider it started.
I wanted to start it with an acknowledgement that this has got to be one of the more wonderful starts to a season in terms of storyline, narrative, dribble, yarn, controversy, all of which has been pretty
PG.
Well, PG, not the right word, because it is PG, but it's not about it being PG. It's just about it being you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, I can enjoy a penis being jammed into a schooner and that being
But
leaked.
that's still PG.
But that's not PG.
No, but what I mean by PG is
It's not illegal.
It's not scat.
Yes. Okay, well, that's a better way to put it, because PG is not penises in schooner glasses in a public venue.
But that's play on every day of the rugby league.
It's play on.
They're not scat scandals.
I listed down, as we were discussing in the green room before about even number one betting show in the country, whoops, with Rugby League Guru, just about the season so far. It started off in earnest in Las Vegas with one of the more legitimately PG events, which was the inflatable bat between the Canberra Raiders players, Huddy Young, Smithies.
Morgan Smithies.
They were punched on in an elevator, inflatable.
I tell you what, it's done absolutely nothing to Huddy Young's form.
Oh, it's actually improved it. I think he felt like I need to improve. I need to show up now. We were then followed, I think, and we may have missed some punters, Dribbles, let us know, but it was followed then by Dylan Brown's
mega deal
at the Knights, which is just seeming more and more preposterous with every week's passing. $13 million, Newcastle Knights.
No 7.
Not a 7.
He's not a 7. They don't have a 7 for him to play.
They don't have a 7. He's not a 7. Kalen is rumoured to go to the All Blacks. We are then followed by the great and powerful Daly Cherry Evans, who has decided he's going to leave Manly at the end of the year. Obviously, that still hurts to some degree, but there's a lot of shit whispers. There's some whispers going that, there's nothing you can do. And you just now listen to the whispers and let them lull you into a sense of security. We then had JT and Lenu last weekend, which didn't even get a fucking second to breathe.
Well, in any other time of the year, that's a 2-3 week story.
That's a 2-3 week story. Who are we talking to? Who was there? Have we got a lip reader in, as we asked of Brent Reed? That then is fucking followed on Monday.
Blown out of the water.
Blown out of the water by Lachie Galvin bailing on the Tigers.
Not just bailing, Tom, but saying no to a $5.5 million over 5-year deal. He's 20, is he?
He's 19.
19. He's played what? Fucking 20-ish games in first grade? 25?
It's actually an interesting question.
He's played 27 games.
27 games, and you have been offered a $6 million contract.
$6 million contract.
27 games.
27 games.
That is fucking incredible.
So in 27 games of footy, you've impressed
a little.
But you've impressed people.
Impressed heaps. I'm joking.
No, but I'm trying to make a point here. You've impressed. You've got the Tigers to a spoon. Another one. You weren't involved in the others, but you got them to a spoon last year, and Phil Gould sucked your cock, and you got one of the biggest deals in the history of the game. You've then said via your manager to the Tigers, do not make us an offer because we will not accept it regardless of what it is. Which then implies what? Will we start to need to read between the lines? Well, he doesn't want to be at the Tigers. Why? And that then leads to what has transpired over the last 24 hours.
The way that it was described or explained, and obviously we're only getting one side of the story here, really.
We're also not even...
Well, we're getting what we're getting
side.
is we're getting people reporting on how it's gone without the people involved telling you how it's gone.
True.
And
which is a side.
Which is a side of sorts. How many sides does this
at least 8.
Does this have? At least 8?
Got a bit of octagon about it.
Yeah, okay. But you've got I heard some journos saying that Isaac Moses, who I'll say this, we met him and he was a very nice guy. So I'm not here to fucking shit on him. He was a nice guy and we met him. And, there's a lot of, chaos around his involvement in all this. Mm-hmm. But they're saying that he went to Benji and were he went to Shane Richardson and started listing off reasons why Galvin...
7 reasons.
7 reasons. Give me 20... Is it 20 good reasons or 7 good reasons? I don't know. Or is it Dua Lipa song?
I tell you what was
on... Don't pick up the phone...
That's new rules. The song by Thirsty Merc is 20 Good Reasons.
Oh, fuck. 20 Good Reasons. Also, shout out to Avril Lavigne. Skater Boy was on the radio this morning. I'm like, she was big back in the day.
Yeah, she was. Tell you what, she doesn't age well. And I don't mean getting older looking. I don't mean it in that sense. I mean when you see her shtick and get up from back in the day, you're like...
Oh, no, that's not aged well.
That seemed so cool and play on back then. I'm like, it was fucking absurd.
He was a skater boy. She said,
see you later, boy. But again, that's just...
He wasn't good
I'm not...
Tobler,
don't bring her currently. That's not what I'm saying. Although
we're talking 2001 Avril.
Although it's still relevant because I'm... that wasn't what I was saying. Well, it's not nothing. It wasn't, but that's not what I was saying. I don't want that to be the takeaway. That's not what I was saying.
That's not nothing.
That's fucking low of you to do that. That wasn't what I was saying. I was saying her get up, the way she dressed and shit back in the day, I thought was cool, but it clearly wasn't. She was huge, by the way.
Huge.
So, Isaac Moses apparently goes to Shane Richardson and starts listing off why Benji's shit. And then Shane has to stop and be like, bro, come on, fuck. What are we doing? And then that's where it all happens. Don't even make us an offer. Don't even make us an offer. So
then from there... After he's nabra'd the club
puts out a statement.
We've been dumped. It's bitter. It's obviously twisted. We then hear reports that Api Coruscant and Jerome Luai, heard of him?
I was about to.
Premiership winners. Jerome 4-time, Api 2-time. Premiership winners, know a bit about the game of rugby league, have also both existed in...
Also Appy 3 because he won one with the Rabbitohs.
True. Have come out of a system, and I'm referring to the Panthers here, where there is a standard of excellence that is adhered to and everyone buys in. They, having come from such system, are starting to impart that culture onto a cultureless club. And said, if you don't fucking drop him, we're not playing.
Well, much like, and I don't entirely know.
Frank Walker from National
Tiles. I don't exactly know what I'm talking about here, but in the way that...
You don't, Tom. You have nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing logical to say.
So, in the way that Graham Hancock ancient... civilization, global cataclysm sort of stuff. He says where...
Fame. There would have been a fame.
There. He says that... He doesn't say this is truth, but he's referring to a fable of sorts that after the global cataclysm...
Noah's Ark stuff?
Younger Dryas territory, that a few wise old sages from the old world who remember the way things were done they went out to the world and basically taught everyone how restarted civilization. I say that because that's how I feel potentially you could look at the Penrith Panthers. dominant side, one of the all-time great sides, and then they have just sent out wise sages into the rugby league universe. And you can be talking Billy Kicks and Critter at the Dogs. You can be talking Luai and Coruscant at the Tigers. Fuck, you can
Even a sprinkler Taruva, baby.
at Taruva, Matty Burton. You could talk fucking Curdy Capes out at the Warriors.
You can
and
talk
via
Fisher
the
Harris at the
Broncos.
Warriors as well.
Fisher Harris.
And Curdy Capes via the Bronx.
Do you know what I mean?
The Bronx made a grand final, I believe, with the Curdy Capes
They
there.
might have made one with
Mr.
the Curdy
Glory
Capes.
Hole. Shout out to him. It's not about the Glory Hole,
It's not,
but
it's
he was
irrelevant- it's a
behind
relevant
one,
point. It's
right?
a
Like he was
relevant point.
behind one.
It's a relevant point. All we're saying is
Follow the sage, you find success.
you find success, dude. The Dogs made the finals. The Tigers look like they're going to make the finals. These are wise old sages from before the Younger Dryas global cataclysm.
which is the combustion of the Panthers, which we're seeing before our very eyes.
before
If
our
they
very
lose to the Roosters this weekend, you'd chalk it up as
Chalk it up as the season done.
as well as the
It's
end
Younger
of an era.
Dryas.
As the end of an era.
Well, it's a Younger Dryas.
Yes.
Asteroidal impact theory. Now, that to me says that when you've got wise old sages coming to your club, that wise old sages should to some degree be listened to, and that's not to say you take everything a wise old sage says. You take it with a grain of salt, Edward. They're a wise old sage, but they're not fucking God. But those two at the Tigers, these wise old sages.
Well, you respect your elders, though.
Appy Coruscant and Jerome Luai, they go to the coach who apparently was prepared to play Lachie. Even though Lachie publicly disrespected Benji, which was unnecessary.
And privately.
But the thing is...
If you believe the 7-step program.
Yes. But it just doesn't seem necessary for the way that... Like, to be like, I don't think that Benji can take me to where I want to be. Okay, dude, that's fine. Is that... And I want to get this out of the way early so they have time to do their cap. Okay, sure. That's all right if that's true. But, like, you don't need to do that now. You could do that in November or even fucking October or after they get kicked out of the competition and don't make the fucking grand final. You could do it then and be like, listen, this is what I'm thinking.
You can only talk to clubs November 1st.
Yeah, but you can let a club
year.
know. But you can let a club know that you don't want to be with them now, which is what he's done. He still can't talk to clubs until November 1. But you can let a club know. But, like, what's the point? Why don't you just wait? Why don't you just wait? That's the thing. It's like it feels like there's more to it. Now, if there isn't more to it, then that's all right as well. But you cannot look me in the rugby league eye, in the eye of the glory hole, Edward. You can't look me in that eye and tell me that it doesn't arouse suspicions.
Of course, it arouses suspicions, and it's interesting if you were to look at. There's obviously again, it's octagonal this drama, and you can. There's multiple ways to look at it. But if you were to look at it from this perspective,
is it octagonal?
8 sides.
Another horse.
Octagonal, yes.
Great horse. Great bit of horse.
Great bit of pony. Is that Lachie Galvin, 27 gamer, has earned the ire? Is that the term?
Drawn the ire.
Drawn the ire of the rugby league world off his 27 games played under whom?
Benji Marshall.
Trained under whom?
Benji Marshall.
Developed under whom?
Benji Marshall.
Given a chance under whom?
Benji Marshall.
Given a platform under whom?
Benji Marshall.
So it seems strange to me, Tom, that Benji would then be the irritant. The irritant to Lachie and to his manager's life.
The ingrown hair in Lachie's rugby league boil.
Yes. Because I wasn't aware he had one.
No.
A boil.
In fairness,
27 game Lachie
he's
Galvin.
asked for a release twice already. So, like, you can say that it's like, it's not out of the blue.
He asked for a release during a wooden spoon season where he was not padded correctly.
Sure, but he still asked for a release twice. So, like, you know. And then he's come out and he's like, it's not about the money, it's not about this.
But again, this is another side
to the octagon.
To the octagon.
Or the dodecahedron.
If you want to go to 10.
Yes. He says he doesn't want money. He says it ain't about money. He says he ain't about that money. And you could argue, well, fuck. I mean, $6 million you're turning down. Maybe it is. Maybe he really just doesn't.
Braith and Asta, friend of the show, thinks it's all about money.
I know he does. And Braith, a dear tanned friend.
And you won't hear me say a bad word about Braith and Asta.
Well, not a man that's...
Of whom I would say...
best tan in rugby league.
Has the best tan in rugby league and has risen to the dizzying heights of host of 360 and doing a job.
Well, can I say this about Braith? And you can quote me on this. I don't think we've ever seen a current or former rugby league player pair a tan into a shade of white of the teeth into undeniable talent. It's the fucking triumvirate of rugby league talent.
Into a fucking pretty decent bod. He trains with the wrong people.
Pretty decent is actually not fair. It's a good bod.
It's a great bod, but unfortunately he's always juxtaposed with
Justin
stallions.
Horo.
You know? Well, Horo shows he's working where, like, you know, Horo's just making up the pieces with some of the boys they're playing with.
True, that's true.
In the gym.
No, and that's not disrespect.
But if
Justin.
put it this way, if Braith trained with us, you'd go, he's the most ripped man of all time.
Yes, but he's pairing, and you know what? I actually think I left something out there. He's pairing an impeccable, like, golden cookie tan with a wonderful pearly white shade of teeth with a grey, but not all the way grey, thick, luscious Greek head of hair with undeniable talent.
Yep.
It's honestly, it's undeniable.
Undeniable talent and the cred.
Yes.
He's got cred.
He's got cred. Prems, Origins, national caps, cred.
So he can say shit.
Yeah.
Right? And he thinks...
It's all about money.
It's all about the money. And he thinks it's all about the money. And so that's another side to it. Is it you're spitting, you're biting the hand that fed you with the Benji comments? Is it about the money or not? Like, would you even be fucking playing first grade if it wasn't for the Tigers? Like, there's a lot going on.
Yes.
Is this a manager's fault? Has he been given poor advice?
Is
Maybe.
it dad?
Is
it a dadager? You know what I mean? Like, you got
Could
your manager,
be.
but the parents are involved. He's 19.
Could be.
Parents still involved.
Has he been wine dining 69 within an inch of his life by a Supremo? Maybe.
Has he been polished by a Supremo?
Imagine having your knob polished at 19 by a Supremo. Like,
You would not be able to turn that down.
No, you wouldn't.
I couldn't turn down a relatively attractive woman at a pub when I was 19.
Exactly.
Let alone a Supremo.
Yeah.
A rugby league Supremo offering to pay me as well.
Exactly. I mean, there's blokes on schoolies that they haven't even better turn out their mates.
Listen.
If you remember the video from a couple of years ago.
Listen, there are characters on White Lotus who won't turn down their brothers.
So you can forgive
a 19-year-old
from not wanting to turn down a Supremo from a knob polish.
Well, a polishing via a Supremo, which a select few 19-year-olds will know what that feels like.
And I'm thinking on
Sonny
less
Bill.
than one hand.
Sonny Bill, fucking Galvin. There would be more that we mentioned. Falau.
Yep.
He'd be a Supremo. Suoliiti's definitely been polished by a Supremo. Leave comments if we've forgotten them. I know we have, but polished by a Supremo as a teenager.
I'm just trying to think. Curly wasn't. Kalen wasn't.
Curly probably wasn't. Kalen wasn't polished by a Supremo because he went to the Knights.
By the Cowboys. There's no polishing there by a Supremo.
No, you don't get polished there. That's the problem. You can be a highly touted teen, but if you're polished by a Supremo, it's that you are brought into a big dick setup. Beckham.
Latrell was polished.
Latrell was polished by a Supremo. David Beckham. I know it's not rugby league, but like Fergie polished David.
Well, Fergie made a point of polishing. He polished a lot of boys. Young men.
Yeah, of age.
Skulls, gigs.
Of age. So it would be hard to, and we're also not saying at all, I want this on the public record, don't come after us. We're not saying that Lachie has in any way been polished by a Supremo. What we are saying is if we were to put ourselves into the shoes of a 19-year-old who has Supremos tapping at his door, offering a polishing, that it would be difficult to turn down.
It would be very difficult to turn down. That's what we're saying.
That's all we're saying. So, now...
But it does... But if you were getting polished by a Supremo, I still don't know how necessary the 7 stages of grief that you've given to your current coach are.
No, I don't. Unless you're just trying to build your case for exit.
You don't need to build it. You can just leave unless you want to get out of that 26.
Which is, again, if you're being cynical, that's how it looks.
Now, we've painted that picture. Where then do you think the Sages
come into play?
Well, they've come into play. We know that. Where does why are they so emotionally driven, the Sage?
Yes, the Sages. So part of what we're seeing here is, or at least how it felt at the start, like when the first of the 7 Sages emerged in Jerome Luai. 7 Sages was how it was termed by Graham Hancock. Jerome Luai, big anime guy, probably a big fucking hentai porn guy, just based on what I'm looking at.
Well, I'd be shocked if he wasn't.
You'd have to be, right? Like there is...
If he's not a huge fan of Sailor Moon...
with her titties out, with the ultimate fan fiction.
Yeah. Who's lifted the skirt and
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We get it.
Listen, there is a shocking statistical correlation between being into anime and being into hentai porn. There just is. Yep. And I'm assuming...
We don't have the numbers to hand, but just...
We've looked at them, though. We've seen them.
Trust us.
So, Jerome Luai of anime/hentai porn fan fame, he's put up an anime thingo of some guy who apparently... Someone looked into it. Did one of our people look into it and give us the facts? But it was like, whoever that character was, it was like he wasn't about the money. That's who that character was. And he like sacrificed himself for the greater good or some bullshit. He put that up with Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe from Kendrick Lamar. Heard of him. And Team First across the hentai porn poster.
In a great font selection.
Oh, I think it was the poster selection.
Yeah, it was poster, Tom.
Blown up big.
I liked it. Did you like it?
No, I did. I liked it. I liked it a lot. When that dropped, I think the sentiment was Tigers ain't about that shit no more. You know, like finally we've got some sages at the club and we've got a club, like I think Hectic Fred put it best. They lost a spine player and they grew a backbone. Or they lost a spine player and they grew a spine.
Wow, I like that. Yeah. I mean, that is when you're paying top dollar, part of what you're buying, especially if you're buying someone that's won premierships, is culture.
Yeah.
Like it's talent and it's culture. If you can get both, fucking yippee, right? But that's what yippee. You know who says yippee? The old mate from Tassie. Yippee! Doesn't he say that? Old mate, the Hurricane supporter.
No, it's woohoo!
Bev.
He'd have a yippee in him for sure.
As if he hasn't got a yippee in him.
Old mate from Tassie was the broadest fucking reference.
But it wasn't that broad. Yippee!
Yeah, anyway.
Where are we? I'm fucking lost as fuck. Luai.
You've bought in culture.
You've bought in
if
culture.
If you can get in culture and form, great. If you can just get culture, yippee.
But you're buying culture, and that's what you've got because it's very simple. Think about it this way. Benji was prepared to play him. That is old school, institutionalized, pathetic, loser mentality.
Tiger mentality.
And I say that with all due respect to Benji, who's a legend.
It's more about the club culture than Benji.
But he's been around the club for too long. Like, they won the fucking premiership in 2005.
You know what that is?
20 years ago.
Eddie, if they were to have played Galvin, that is me after Steph dumped me going to Bali with her.
Yes.
You don't do that.
Right. Yeah. And Jerome turns around and he goes,
no.
Fuck that.
We're not going to Bali. We're not going to Bali.
We don't fuck that. You want to win comps? You do not fuck that way.
So that started well. And I think that was, and also they all fell in line behind their coach because.
Put it this way. If you're trying to get a big O and you slip it in and you're done in 3 seconds, you fucked the wrong way.
You ain't fucked the right way. That's for damn sure.
And Jerome eyeballs that and he goes, no.
No.
we'll not do it."
I have made a career of giving big O's, and I know how to do it. I've found the metaphorical rugby league clitoris punters and dribblers, and I know how to hit it. Or the G-spot.
Mate, I found a book in a library.
Yeah. Now,
Shout out to American Pie.
shout out to American Pie. Great film. 1, 2, and 3, to be fair. Jerome knows what he knows how to...
Was
how
3
it should
the
be
wedding?
done. Yeah, it was. Stiff throats and poo. Now... So that all went, like, that started well. I felt that was good. The Instagram thing was cool. It was strong. Even if a bit over the top and a bit like Gen Z, like, fuck
But he's
you.
but he's that way.
He is, dude. It's hentai porn.
He's got rivalries going. He's got people barking at each other. Like,
He's also not afraid to talk shit publicly. You
Which I
know, he
like.
puts out the bloody post-Origin, like, enjoy work tomorrow, you fucking losers, you speds, I'm an Origin player.
yeah, and
Fuck you.
and like, as much as people want to go, fuck you, bro, you can't say that. 4 comps, a shield at Suncorp, almost the
shields.
forbidden shield.
Yeah, the Forbidden Shield.
How many shields has he won?
At least
3,
2, I
maybe?
think.
Maybe 3?
How many shields Jerome won?
But he's won a forbidden shield.
Yes.
So you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Correct. And 4 straight competitions.
And a World Cup final.
His
And a World Cup
career
final
is
with Samoa.
His career is just untouchable. It's one of the great careers already, and he's 25.
Correct.
Like,
so you can talk,
suck me
you
off
can
next
talk
station.
all the shit.
Yeah. Cody goes, my ice, please, my dog.
Thanks, mate. So you can talk all the shit.
He's won 2 shields.
2 shields.
But a forbidden shield there.
2 shields, 1 forbidden, 4 comps
What are we talking
in
about?
a row.
What are we talking about?
World Cup
But
grand
one
final.
a forbidden shield without his, or you can never win without clear.
Yeah.
Well, shut the fuck up because I can.
Because I can. Forbidden Shield.
Yeah.
So that was all good. Like, I liked that. Then Taruva, who's still young, he goes
Who
on,
I'm a huge fan of.
huge fan of. He goes on Instagram. He puts up a story, photo of Galvin's locker with
This was
"Here
less
comes
subtle.
the money,
Yeah.
money, money, money." The Shane McMahon or the Vince McMahon walkout song. Is Sebo gone?
Shane McMahon, I think.
Yeah, it was Shane.
Shane McMahon, which he posted to his private friends on Instagram. But someone, you can do close friends.
People leak that stuff all the time.
Of course they do. No, listen, I don't
Well,
feel...
who got done in with the bag?
Dude, look how...
Wait, was I saying the other day I'm so impressed with whoever's been doing the
Dude,
man.
that's... Well, only half of it's full. That's all I'll say. It's beautiful, but...
Oh no, but it's okay.
No, that's fantastic.
No, but it's
But it's not great.
no, but you did one the other day, Cody, that was the whole thing.
Yeah. No, but the roundness there, like there is. So we're just sorry, punters. We're just getting some ice from Cody, and he's doing a great job. But there's always room for improvement,
And he's done better.
That's cultural.
Yeah, that's cultural. That's hello sport culture.
Yeah.
That's hello sport culture.
But yeah, the Taruva like private friends, here comes the money, is not ideal. It's not ideal because if you're going to talk shit, get hit, do it publicly, or don't do it in your private friends and then get caught out doing it. That's sort of where it looks bad. I feel like I'm the only one that saw that Latu Finau did one. I feel like I'm breaking it here, and we've got it. We've got the footage. Latu Finau did one. More hentai porn. I don't know exactly what it meant. But can you get the Latu Finau one up?
Yeah.
It was nothing hectic, but like everyone's doing it. Fanua Bole I think it was a Fanua Bole code? Cody? Well, what did Sione do? So Fanua Bole and Sione Finau both liked a comment on a fan page saying like, fuck Lachie Galvin or something. No, I know. Yeah, so they both liked an Instagram post, which was from a Tigers fan page, which would be a sad place to start with, but it was based like unfucking believable. We gave him everything, fuck this guy, and they both liked it. And then I swear I saw a Latu Finau one where it was again just more hentai porn, but I don't know what that means. I feel like they're all into a hentai now.
Yeah, but I mean, what they are doing is making public statements.
Yes, which I feel like it's maybe getting a bit out of control.
Well,
Volume. Young Thug Power. All right, pause it.
Okay,
What's
so-
NMNL mean?
I think Cody said it was no more, no less.
Nothing more, nothing less?
Nothing more, nothing less. No
I
money,
mean, listen,
no,
that
don't
may
know.
not be something, but fuck me, it looks like something.
It could be, but so
when everyone's posting
So
it.
then you start to ask another question. You say, what has driven these men to start posting public statements? Have they been particularly wronged and it's justified, or is this snowballed and it's getting a little bit out of hand? Difficult to know. Then you start to go, okay, what about the reports that Lachie Galvin got up in front of the whole squad and was asked by Benji to justify his
Great
decision?
album.
What?
Justified.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Timberlake or Bieber, but I think it was Timberlake.
Timberlake. And I'm talking sexy back Timberlake.
Yes.
I'm talking keeping the white boy in the fight Timberlake. It ain't easy for us white boys in that world,
In that
bro.
world, dude, you got it. There's a couple of whites keeping us in the fight, and it's Timberlake, it's Bieber. That's it right
That's
now.
it,
That's
bro.
all we
are
got.
up against quality, bro, and it's tough.
It's tough. Now, shout out to Justin Timberlake.
It's tough for white boys in that world. So, we're just not good enough.
Nah, we're not.
So, fuck.
He stood up in front of.
He stood
up there and did a full rendition of Justified.
Yeah. And was asked to stop because he was talking shit. That's the way it was reported.
That sounds so hectic. Getting up there in front of everyone and trying to justify it. Again, there's a real world, not to sound like Kempy here, but where I feel very sorry for this 19-year-old kid, whether you think he's been mismanaged or misdirected or misguided, whatever, I don't know. Burped. But, like, 19 is still young. And that's a lot to fucking wear.
Yes.
And if you're a kid who is, like, it's not that you don't even really know what you think and feel, and maybe you do think that Benji isn't your coach, but maybe you're also, a little bit plastic in your beliefs or a little bit malleable, and, that you take on the thoughts and feelings of other people a lot more, or the advice. And so even while you're standing up there, you're sort of trying to formulate your thoughts and opinions in front of a group of fucking hardened dogs and some sages from premiership winning teams about why you want to go and why. And you might just catch
Put on the spot.
You grow on a goatee because you can grow facial hair for the first time in your life. That's a facial hair of a man that's just learned to grow facial hair.
You can tell because it's not thick enough.
It's not thick enough. You
wispy.
grow. That's what happens. Oh fuck! I can grow a beard now. Let me experiment with a goatee.
Yeah.
Like
if it's that wispy, you're either new to the party or an old Japanese man.
That's it, dude. He's not Japanese.
No, he's not.
As far as I'm aware.
We could
be wrong.
We could be. And if we are,
we apologise unreservedly to.
But I'm just gonna read out this quote from Andrew Webster. They had to call an end to it because they weren't copying what was coming out of his mouth.
Sorry, I didn't read it.
Huh?
I got it through my mic stand. And I thought
Coping would be one piece, wouldn't it?
No, but that's the thing. I was obscured.
Let me start again.
Sorry, everyone.
They had to call an end to it because they weren't copying what was coming out of his mouth.
So how does that go? Do you start?
We're gonna.
Are they heckling him while he's?
I don't know. Who calls an end to it? Get up and say something. Now fucking stop. You're talking shit. Like, that sounds like a very intense environment.
It also doesn't sound like the most healthy.
No.
And what I mean is, even if he's done all of the things that he's done, punters and dribblers, let's pause for a second and remember, we are talking about rugby league. Now, Eddie, you and I have, in large part, built a career off of talking about rugby league amongst other things. But it's still rugby league at the end of the day. And this sounds a little bit kangaroo courty with a 19-year-old, 19-year-old.
Yes, it does feel kangaroo courty.
Let's get the pariah up here and let's just get him abused in front of the entire fucking...
This is
to the point where they have to shut it down. Where does he go once they call it into it?
This has got a bit of Mount Pan run about it.
It
with
does.
Consequence.
Which Mount Pan,
and you're only once. And you're one out.
Yeah, and you're one out and you're a child and everyone else an adult. The thing is, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. He might, and again, the unfortunate nature of this situation is that it's open to speculation. He might be an arrogant.
I just think that the way that...
He might be arrogant and not gelling with the team.
I think if you're trying to piece this together, this is just... This is vibe, because all I've got to go
This
off.
might shock you guys. We haven't planned this.
Is that the public statements from Sages, the Sages talking to Benji saying we don't want him playing... The kangaroo court nature of it. Obviously, this guy has got under their skin, and I don't think it is solely down to his decision to leave.
Isn't you think there are other people who are...
No, I think that...
He might already be annoying people.
He's already... It's something... Do you know what I mean? Or the way he's spoken about the club potentially internally, the way he's acted around his teammates. Again, I'm speculating heavily. I'm just like, would those players come out and behave that way if all he'd done is, I don't want to play
Fair.
this year?
And usually, like...
That's all I'm... You know what I mean?
Because usually a club might come out and
Players leave clubs, bro.
Yeah, this has been done particularly badly, and they'll get to some real poor false equivalencies that I'm seeing as well around the traps. But clubs will often come out and try and control the narrative. One of the things that everyone was talking about with DCE was that he just got on the front foot before the club could sort of shape it.
He actually got applauded for that.
Yes. You wonder whether with a Lachie Galvin, because they had the conversation with the club, the management, and then the club came out with a statement. They released the news. They got ahead of the whole fucking thing. Whether that was them, stuck me hand in me techie there, freaked me out. But whether that was the club getting ahead of the narrative here and making out, like, I guess, like shaping it that he's this ungrateful, cocky little shit. But then again, he comes out and confirms some of it by going, I don't think Benji's my coach. Which for a 19-year-old to say about fucking Benji, who's basically 1 year in, you get the spoon, right? The team's already shit. The next year, though, you're winning games. Like, it's hard to...
And seem to have a resolve about them.
Yes.
There's a defensive resolve there that has been impressive, and they're winning games and playing pretty decent footy.
I can't imagine... Like, Isaac Moses has been around the traps. Again, I'll reiterate, met him the other day, nice guy. But he's been around the traps, and he has seen fucking many different contract negotiations. He's seen the ups and the downs. He's fucking, by many corners of the game, he's like, that he's not beloved. But so he's seen the way these things go. This, I don't know you could have predicted this going this badly. Because to the point now where, like, it does almost feel a bit etched, this 19-year-old kid. He's getting fucking abused by his teammates online.
This feels like
it's gotten a bit out of control.
That's what's etched about. Well, it's not etched. That's what is different about this situation versus others. Is that
the team's turn on him.
The media,
publicly.
Well, the team's turn on him. The media's always going to talk shit, and the media... In this situation, if you look at it, okay, Lachie Galvin wants to leave the Tigers. Knowing it's seen as many winters as you and I have, and we're starting to rack them up. Nothing crazy yet, but like we're getting there. Is that in this situation, if a high profile player leaves a club, journos close to the club will start to release articles that talk shit about the player. It's pretty standard. Rarely do you see players coming out talking shit about the player. This is out
and immediately.
Immediately.
We don't want to play with him, and fucking let's release some hentai porn.
Drop him or I'm not playing, and we'll release hentai porn memes.
Yeah. You just don't say. In all my winters, I've the hentai porn memes is a new is.
But what do you think Buzz is saying?
Yeah.
You're going,
what's this, buddy? What's this Asian bird's tits doing out on this Instagram?
It's quite hot. Hang on, give me a second.
No, listen, the hentai porn. That's the great thing about rugby league is that even when you think you've got it understood, you see hentai porn memes come out, and you go, "The beautiful game, the great game,
the beautiful game." That's right. So, and to that end, I'm stuck.
I feel a bit sorry for it.
I'm stuck in a bit of a rugby league purgatory, punters. I'll be honest with you. On one hand, I feel sorry for a 19-year-old kid who's been
memed to death. Right,
but then on the other hand, I'm super curious what turns a couple of old sages to this sort of public lambasting.
Yes, and then for the people who are trying to make the comparison, like they're talking about the hypocrisy of Jerome and Api Coruscant's outrage, and because Jerome's left the fucking Panthers to go to the Tigers, like. You can feel that Lachie might be getting a bit unfairly targeted here, or maybe it's got out of hand, sure. But there is no similarity between a 4-time premiership winning, 5-time grand final appearing Jerome Luai being priced out of his club where they can't afford him anymore. And so he goes, okay, that's fine. Thanks for the memories.
What happens when you win comps is your value goes up.
Of course.
I'm just trying to. I'm reminding the punter and the dribbler, and so what happens off the back of the more comps you win, the more players you lose. They've lost a fuckload. I would remind you all of this. Luai was at the club when Kickow left, when Burton left, when Capewell left, when Coruscant left, when Fisher Harris left.
Well.
Right?
Did you say Capewell?
I did.
Okay.
When Stephen Crichton left, and he didn't say this shit then.
Correct. He didn't say this shit then because there is a financial reality to success in rugby league.
But so I'm saying, like, it's not necessarily about leaving clubs or going for money.
No.
It's so he's saying something for a different reason.
But the way you do it matters,
yes.
and the context of what in the way around the way you leave matters. And Jerome Luai or Api Coruscant leaving is not because you can also leave for money. It's fine to leave for money, like or for a better opportunity.
Every single player we just named, left for money. It's because if you're talking about opportunity and winning comps, they would have taken less money and stayed at the Panthers.
It's not about trying to stay forever and
all
stay.
Those players left for money.
And so if Api leaves after 2 grand finals instead of 4 for money, that's okay. It's all right to do that. Especially when the club goes, oh, well, listen, like we can't really afford to pay you what you're now worth on the market. The difference is the Tigers can afford to pay him what he's worth.
In fact,
they're probably paying him more than he's worth, in fairness, after 27 games.
I don't think he's worth $5.5 million.
Well, no player's worth $1 million after 27 games. No. You wouldn't think, even though he is very good and he can grow a goatee. But, like, it's hard to... It's impossible to make that comparison. It's not the same thing. Particularly, you can't call these guys hypocrites for calling out what is it's just objectively a poorly handled fucking situation.
Yes. And we're piecing that together with limited information because there's obviously there is a communication and a vibe inside the club
that we aren't privy to.
We aren't getting.
Well, we're not privy to it.
We're not privy to it. So this has just consumed the mind of one young Edward Simpson. ELS 29191 DBH.
That's not base hospital.
So the latest is the RLPA are going to hold crisis talks with the Tigers over the handling of this whole situation.
I like that from the RLPA.
Yep.
I think that's great. I think that's terrific. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. Look out for the interest of the player. Phil Gould's come out as well. Phil Gould wants you. Actually, what was that article from Phil Gould? I think I had it.
He came out today talking on...
Can you get it up? Can you get it up from the telly?
Yeah.
I've got it on my iPad and my stylus pen, which is charging on the side of it. I don't know if you can see it on YouTube. Probably can. I'm just going to peel it off there. The Fox Sports news article, sometimes I find hard to read. Phil Gould raises concerns over Lachie Galvin's mental health.
They are hard to read because there's too many banner ads and videos that
just roll in randomly.
Yeah.
So Gus concerned over Lachie Galvin's mental health, says West Tigers' future untenable. Gus, as we know, a Supremo with intent to glaze. We established that earlier, did we not?
Well, we didn't say it was him.
Well, he's a Supremo.
It was heavily
implied. We know
implied.
he's a fucking... No, hold on.
It was heavily implied.
Well, everyone else has been mentioning as such. So on his weekly podcast, 6 tackles with Gus.
And it's 6 tackles because...
There are 6 tackles in a set of rugby league.
No, there's not. There's only 5. No, there's 6 because if you don't kick on the 6th after 5 tackles, you give the ball over.
Yep. Thank you, Edward.
That has actually done people in before.
It has.
I think
even our friends...
I've had arguments on benders about that.
I'm pretty sure I've heard James Graham and Nathan Hindmarsh on the buy round recently having that discussion.
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Shout out to James Graham. Had me on the other week.
Yeah, and they were confused as well, and they played the game.
Quick shout out. James Graham, the buy round, loved the podcast generally. He had us on last week to talk a fan forum. Had me on. Oh, that sounded up. Wow.
You said us.
Well, it's just felt
I wasn't on there.
Yeah, okay, wow, that just sounded like you were fucking upset by that.
No, I'm not upset. I just wasn't. You're just saying we were on there and I wasn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I don't want people to go to the bar and expect to see him.
No, sure. Wow. So check that out. Obviously, Eddie wasn't on there. But we were on the Matty Johns show.
So I was on that.
Show, the backstage, Matty and Cooper.
No, I was invited to that one.
On the Matty Johns show, Matty and Cooper's show, the backstage.
Yep.
That was fun. You texting again?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Shout out to that. That show was good, though. I thoroughly enjoyed going on there with you.
Yeah, I was there. A lot of fun. Shout out to Matty. Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Cooper.
Yes.
Who are terrific. And to Trish.
Who was lovely.
And a lovely woman. And a great spot.
Yes.
I think we've said that a couple of times.
Now, great house. This is what Phil Gould said on 6 tackles with Gus because there are 6 tackles in a set in rugby league. As a club, the first thing I'd be worried about was his welfare. The first thing I would worry about is how he's feeling about all this. Now, even though we're at loggerheads and even though he said he doesn't believe in the direction of the club, he doesn't want to play for the club, you've still got a responsibility for him and his welfare. And don't underestimate how big this could be for a 19-year-old boy to suddenly have his teammates turn on him in this manner. He might have anticipated that maybe they were going to drop me, but to have the teammates be behind that decision, that's big. So my first concern would be his welfare right at this moment and how he's dealing with the fallout from this. I doubt in his wildest imagination, which I've heard like he has one, a wild imagination that is. I doubt that in his wildest imagination he would have anticipated this. Even his management and his parents, who obviously endorsed the plan of action, I don't think they would have expected this sort of fallout straight away. If it was a strategy being used to get him out of his contract in the short term so he can go somewhere next year, well then, to that extent, it's probably backfired to where it is at this moment now. The end result might be that he gets released from the Tigers and he can go to play somewhere else next year for big money. But that will have come at a cost. That will have come at a significant cost to Lachlan, which is something he's going to have to work through and hopefully play his way out of going into the future.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. Now, I saw last night, I can't remember who was saying it, forgive me, punters and dribblers, that whilst we all think he might be getting his knob polished by a Supremo, he might be going to a club that wears blue and white potentially, he may actually be indeed going to a club that wears blue and yellow.
Yeah, who just, rather than getting your knob polished, you're going to a club where a coach has a huge knob. But the problem there is if you're saying that you want to go somewhere where you can develop, right? Like where like you've identified maybe deficiencies in the coaching setup at the Tigers.
If you're talking about truly develop, there's no clubs I think that would take you.
The Roosters.
Okay, true. Yes.
And I'm not saying they would.
But they need a 6.
But they have a mortal, like I think Isaac Moses and the Supremo Nick Politis are mortal enemies.
Mortal enemies.
What is a mortal enemy? Is that like I'd prefer to kill you than like deal with you?
Great point. No, you're right, Tom.
It's an enemy who wants to kill you.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't thinking of the Roosters because they're not on speaking terms with the manager that represents Mr. Galvin.
Isaac Moses.
Yes. However, what I'm trying to say is what clubs have the systems and the respect and the wherewithal and the systems and the processes
and the wherewithal
and the coach and the wherewithal to develop young Lachlan.
Yeah. If he's not talking shit.
Wayne Bennett and the Rabbitohs don't need him. Storm don't need him. The Roosters won't deal with him. Probably. Manly don't need one.
Well, listen, Manly are heavily linked with him.
I know. But
Which I just can't tell you how good that. I'll roll out the red carpet. Let's put it this way. If we sign Lachlan Galvin, Eddie,
and then gave back a rescue dog,
that'd be fucked. I'm
just working out how you get
from an RSPCA perspective. That would be fucked to send a rescue dog back to the pound.
If he came to Manly, let's just talk in generalities here. If he was to come to Manly, would he put the 7 back on the jersey?
The rescue dog?
No, Galvin. Because I believe he played 7 last year, did he not?
I think Galvin can play 7. I might be wrong, but Isaac Moses does also represent Tony Siebes.
Yes, he does. Because it seems to me that if he's not going to play 7, he wants to play 6, then the rescue dog needs to go back to the pound.
Which is going to be fucked, dude. I've never adopted a dog and then have to have
That'd be one of the great curveballs in recent memory. If Jamal Fogarty came to Manly and so did Lachie Galvin, and the rescue dog went back to the Tigers. That'd be huge. Highly unlikely.
Well, but I also think the rescue dog would be going back to a pound that is under new ownership.
Can I ask a different question? And I'm asking someone that has absolutely no idea what they're talking about.
You've come to the right place.
So you seem well qualified.
Yep.
Would Serraldo be classed as someone that he could learn and develop under?
Maybe. Like the systems of the dogs are looking good. They're undefeated. But
I'm talking about growing and developing as a half.
Well, there's one that you haven't mentioned yet as a potential, which has been just whispered. But I think also
Penrith.
Yeah. Now they've got Taulagi, they've got Schneider, they've got Cole, they've got fucking heaps.
They would not.
If it's not about money, you could get. Yeah. If it's not about money,
yeah.
You're only on $300,000 right now. Like
they don't have $1 million,
but you don't have to pay him $1 million because he's only on $300 at the Tigers. So his market value, I would have thought, based on his current contract, would have to be pegged to what he's currently being paid. Like if you're getting paid $300,000 and you're killing it, right? The fact of the matter is you're still on $300,000. So you know how a club can't say, let's say the Storm couldn't sign fucking Nathan Cleary on $400,000 because he's not worth that. And that would be like fucking the salary cap. That would be an unfair market rate, right? There's a certain rate that each player sort of pegged to. But I wonder how much
that is determined.
But that would be determined by what you're getting paid.
No,
surely.
It's not. It's determined on what, if you went to the open market, what you would get paid.
Surely,
and it's got to be within that market.
But then, don't you think a club?
No. So for example, and this is my understanding of it, if you eyeball talent and you go, that guy's worth $300,000, he could be a bust, he could be a fucking winner, and we're going to give him a 5-year deal, slightly above what his market is, and we get to reap the benefits, right? That's different than saying he's off contract, he's on the open market now. What's he worth? You can't then judge it on, well, they were paying $300,000 because of a bet they made a couple of years ago. That's not how it works.
No, maybe not. But if you're only getting $300,000 and let's say that the most you're going to get off is $1 million, there's a lot of fucking room in between there. And I'm not saying you'd be able to justifiably pay him $500,000.
No, I know what you mean.
But if you're the Panthers, you might be able to get him for $7 million. If you really wanted to go and develop and you're playing outside of Nathan Cleary, under Ivan.
No, 100. I couldn't agree more, but that's where it gets confusing as well. Because if your intent was to play for the Panthers the whole time, then I'm not developing quickly enough or in the direction that is sufficient for where I want to be as a footballer under Benji Marshall. And then you drop that you go on the Panthers, everyone goes, yes, sweet, makes sense. The problem is that you can't negotiate with any club until November, so why fucking say anything until the end of the year?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. Unless you wanted to give the club that you are going to time. So I wonder if it's almost...
They fucking talk.
No, but what I mean more is, you know how it's like, he's saying he wants to give the Tigers time to negotiate or to get their house in order.
Yep.
But what if it's more about... I actually am just trying to give the club that I am talking to illegally. Again, alleged, not saying, but like, let's say there's like interest from Penrith to have Lachie Galvin on, but they've just got Blaze Talangi, they've just got Schneider, well, they've just got Schneider, they got Cole, and they got to fuck off something there to be able to get me in for 2026, because clearly the Tigers, you would assume, are not going to.
The reason, like, let's be honest, the reason that he has come into work with 7 reasons I hate the boss is so he can leave in 26.
Right, but what I'm saying is his whole thing...
That is the only fucking reason he's come in with a 7 reasons I hate about you.
Possibly. But what I'm saying is he's in his...
7 things I hate about you.
20 good reasons. Thirsty Merc. If he's saying he's more... he wants
Take me back to the...
No. Give me 20 good reasons. I need you to know. He wanted...
I know, but I'm...
Ray Thistlethwaite of Thirsty Merc wanted 20 good reasons for why his missus wanted to leave him, which is like that's too many. In and of that question is the reason we can't be together.
Yeah, that's too many.
That's way too many. I can't. You need me to give you 20?
Yeah,
that's unsustainable.
Yeah,
and that's the one reason why we're not together. Yeah. Ray Thistlethwaite of Thirsty Merc. All I'm saying is if Galvin. If we are going to say that the intention is that he really just doesn't want to be there next year, if that's the truth, then the earlier he can do it now and say it, whilst it's about, I want to give the Tigers time to get their shit together, house in order, what if it's more about going, I want to give Penrith, for example, the longest amount of time possible so that they can go, hey, Blaze, we're going to send you to the Tigers, or fucking... J. Cole or Schneids, whatever, we're going to fuck you off, like, so that we can bring in Lachie Galvin for 2026.
You know what I'm doing if I own the Tigers? Let's just say you and I own the Tigers.
Which we would never do because that's dumb.
But let's say we did, for the point of the exercise, for the point of the argument. You know what I'm doing as an owner?
Opening up the hairdresser again.
I'm going, I know you're angling for a release, which is exactly why I'm not going to release you. And... you can come to me going, oh, but I won't play. Sweet. You don't have to play. You can play reserve grade if you want. Otherwise, you don't have to play. You sit on the sideline. Oh, but what about a player swap? Don't care. All right, you got bitter. I'm going to get more bitter.
Yeah.
And you ain't going fucking anywhere.
I know, and I can completely understand how Tigers fans or just the Tigers generally might be like, hey, we're just going to keep you in reserve grade. The problem he's got is that he's not paid much. So it's not that it's not like you're wearing heaps on the cap just sitting in reserve grade.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, but that's fucked.
But I'm saying that's the...
No, I get it. I can be a bitter boy.
No, I know you can. I'm saying if you assume that that's why they behave this way is to angle for 26 to release. If you run into a real sicko that's just like, fuck you, I'm going to bury you for a year, that's a risk.
No, it is. I think what you could potentially do, though, if you are the Tigers, which we've established we're not and never will be, is that you could creatively angle for a mutually beneficial player swap.
Yes, you could. You could also go...
Nah, sorry, bro. Daring ya.
That would be
ruthless.
The cherry on top of this yarn. If the Tigers for the next year,
what is it, 500 and something days?
The next fucking 18 months go, nah.
Yeah, you're just stuck on 300 grand.
Nah.
Jesus, there's no way. There's honestly, I just don't see it.
Isn't there?
There are no way.
Depends who you're getting offered, right?
No, of course. I guess it's more just like...
Money's not a problem.
I think that there's enough... The reason I wouldn't like that is there are enough instances...
I don't like it. I'm saying imagine if it happened.
There are enough instances where clubs are more than happy to break a contract or to fuck off a player if they're not playing well.
Yes.
Bud Sullivan, Bateman, whoever, just Tigers, for example, right? Like, there's enough of an example where you go like, listen, dude, yeah, this hasn't been handled well, sure. Yeah, this is a bad taste in the mouth sort of a situation. But to like fully fucking stunt a kid's career.
I'm not saying you do that. I'm saying imagine if they did.
That would be ruthless as fuck.
That's all I'm saying.
It'd be ruthless as fuck.
That is all I'm saying. Imagine if that is where this ended.
Yeah, that would be so...
With the stunting.
That would be insane. Punters and dribblers, we have got a big old pot coming up again this weekend for our good friends at Ned's.
A hot pot.
It's a hot pot. It's a Dribblers Day Out pot. Your friends Tom and Eddie, courtesy of Ned's. There will be a pot that is open for you to get in. Now, the standard criteria applies. $20 buy-in, and then your friends Tom and Eddie will be deciding what to bet on at the races this Saturday.
We got our eye into not last weekend, weekend before, so this weekend promises to be fruitful, I would have thought.
Well, listen, we can't promise to be fruitful, but we promise to be better.
No, I promise to tell you that the vibes are fruitful.
Fruitful vibes. We'll see how we go.
Correct.
Pot's going to be open. Keep an eye on it. If you aren't in the Neds, if you don't have a Neds app and you aren't in the About Even group, you won't be able to join.
Then you're
the
a
pot.
loser.
Well, that's the only place you can be able to find it.
So,
Come on.
you
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the website. Tobler,
Yes.
so you wanted to add a bit and then I wanted to play some audio.
Yes, I just wanted to add that Galvin has got strong ties to the Bulldogs through newly appointed assistant coach Luke Vella, who was Galvin's coach as a junior at Westfield Sports High School. Now, I've also just found an article published in January on the Canberra Times, and he said that Vella remains a steady presence in his life and they'll catch up every few weeks for lunch. And Galvin
Michael Vella?
Luke Vella.
Luke Vella. I wonder if he's any relation to Michael Vella.
Galvin also has a tattoo, INFE, on his arm, which is a saying that stands for it's not for everyone, which is the favourite saying of his coach at Westfield Sports, Luke Vella. So it sounds like the relationship's pretty steady there.
I mean,
I just thought that was interesting.
No, that's interesting.
Especially in his development and all this kind of stuff.
that's very interesting. People will say, well, where would he play? I think that
Life finds a way.
life finds a way. I think there's a couple of options. Matty Burton to the centre where he...
No, Cherry and fucking Critter are good.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
Either Cherry in this instance would go to the wing and Montoya out the side, or Crichton would go to fullback.
INFE, it's not for everyone.
And these are his comments he made speaking about Vella. He's probably in the top 3 reasons I'm playing in the NRL.
Top 3 reasons.
What he's done for my footy and how much he helped me and how much he guided me through school and that, he was massive for me.
School and that. He's a fucking real list guy, isn't he? Top 3 reasons, 7 reasons why I don't like Benji Marshall, fucking 20 good reasons.
7 reasons why I hate Benji. Starring Heath Ledger. Obviously, that is in reference to 20 Things I Hate About You, which I would like to say to the punter and the dribbler, if you haven't watched recently, please do. Heath, one of the great Australians.
You know that's Shakespearean in
Living
its,
or dead.
You know it's Shakespearean in its origin. 20 Things I Hate About You.
Dude,
Or
do you
10
know how,
things
do
I
you
hate
know
about
how
you.
old Heath was when he did the Joker? It's like 27,
He's
28.
27, 28. Yeah, I know.
Sickening.
No, I know.
Sickening.
Yeah, it is.
Completely sickening.
Tolber, I just DM'd you a piece of audio or a video from Triple M NRL. It was Michael Chammas, who I want to state publicly, as we have a friend who's done this, one of the great fucking hair regeneration processes of all time.
I feel like we bring that up a fair bit. But
About Chammas?
about our friend.
Oh, about our
but
friend.
But only because we're so impressed.
But also he's public about it, so it's all good. But Chammas,
Yes.
Chammas's hair was deserting him quicker than
Are we
fucking
dribbling
Galvin.
here or is this Chammas?
No, this is just Chammas. Quicker than Galvin was deserting the Tigers. Do you have it there? I did DM it to you. There we go. Turn it up. Start it again. I thought it was an interesting bit of audio here. No headphones. Start it again. Start it again. Thought it was
I
headphones.
didn't really have an issue with Jerome, that post that he put out yesterday, team first, because it wasn't a personal crack at, well, it is, but it's basically suggesting that we're here, we're behind Benji, it's about the West Tigers. I could cop it, no issues. But then when Taruva did what he did, and Taruva had no intention of it ever becoming public, but when it becomes what it did last night, you start to get into the bullying territory, and it reflects poorly on your leadership. This is played into the hands of Isaac Moses perfectly. Because if I'm Isaac Moses, and despite what you think of him, they've just given him the out. They've just given him the out to go to the West Tigers and say, or go to the RLPA and say, well, this kid can't stay in this environment. he's getting bullied. If it was one of their close mates, would they be doing this on social media? No, they wouldn't. The reason they are doing it, and it comes to the core of the situation right now, is because fundamentally they do not like Lachie Galvin. Lachie Galvin didn't like the fact that when Jerome Luai came in, he started to feel ostracised. That Benji had suddenly shifted towards Jerome and Appy Coruscant. Now, I can understand as a coach, you get a 4-time premiership winner, you're playing that much to come and play halfback. Your team now revolves around this bloke. But if you're Lachie Galvin and you feel like that the coach has got your back and he's building a game around you, when that gets taken away, naturally, you're going to start to feel ostracised. And that is what has happened over the last 6 months since Jerome has come there, that slowly Lachie Galvin has started to feel like this isn't his team. And that the players around him, the core group, they feel, Jerome Luai and there's other senior players there, that this kid has a sense of entitlement because they can sense that he is not comfortable at that club anymore. He is starting to feel on edge around those players.
Pause it. Stop it.
It's a good take from Chamis.
There's a couple of things though.
I liked it.
No, same. Head to hair looks fantastic. Can we just start there? You wouldn't know.
Well done.
Don't you reckon you wouldn't know?
Well, you wouldn't think about it.
You wouldn't even know. You'd just look straight past it. You thick head of hair. The part of me is like the bullying thing. Yeah, it does. It plays into their hands because now it's like he's getting roasted. The part about him feeling ostracized,
not good enough.
It's just a bit like you probably need to have people around you that go like, listen, you're 19. You got a 4-time premiership winner coming to your team.
Well, that's
what happens.
No, but he got that wrong. Chamis gets that wrong, and
no, it's not even that he got it wrong. If that's how it feels, if that's how Galvin feels,
no. Sorry, let me reframe that. What he was saying up until that point made sense from a logic perspective.
Yes.
But it started to, and I'm not saying he's incorrect, but it falls away when you're going, he felt ostracised. Now,
well, like Benji doesn't want to build a game plan around me.
Now, either he did feel ostracised and that's correct, or he didn't. But what I would say is, if a 4-time premiership winner comes to your club, and you've played 27 games that amounted in a spoon, you fucking shut the fuck up. You sit down and you get your notebook out.
Correct.
Like, what are we talking about? It's not your...
And anyone around you should be like, hey, you've got an opportunity to learn.
I'm taking that statement as fact.
No, I know.
To be like, you're 19, you've done fuck all except win a spoon.
Yeah.
Which is fuck all.
Yes.
Get your notebook out. And I'm not saying, by the way, that like he didn't get his notebook out, but I'm going off what was reported or said here by Chamis.
This is a reaction video. There's a couple of guys on the internet reacting to it.
100%. Like, get your fucking notebook out. At the end of the day, and people talk shit about Jerome, but whether you think that he was carried to premierships, whether you think that he was a super integral part of the premierships and the Forbidden Shield, there's one thing you have to admit about Jerome is that he's a winner. A winner with a capital W, baby. Like, some people fucking win in life and some people are fucking losers. And if you've got a winner in your setup, you get the notebook out.
Wise old sages. How do we restart society after a global cataclysm, which is 3 straight spoons?
Get the notebook out. Some people cannot stop winning. They win. Much like, who was the Roosters? He was at the Warriors. He was at the Panthers.
James Maloney.
I've had a techie or two. Like,
I get it. That gruff-voiced motherfucker.
But like, winner. Chicken dinner.
My most hated saying.
Why?
I don't know. It just annoys me. Not my.
Do you know what it reminds me of? You won't guess it.
Fill my cup.
I feel like chicken tonight. Like chicken tonight.
No, dude. No, I didn't think that.
Do you remember?
What was that? I feel like chicken tonight. Was that a Red Rooster?
Was that microwavable chicken?
Was it a Red Rooster? Red Rooster's the dumbest fucking brand ever.
I feel like that was like a marinated chicken in a microwavable pouch.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like a chicken sauce that you just pour into chicken.
Or which brand though?
Rosella?
Was it Rosella? Shout out to Rosella. Make a grapefruit chutney.
Or tomato sauce.
And a grapefruit chutney.
Yeah. So they were, I feel like, chicken tonight.
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was repeated.
No, that's why I didn't repeat it.
Ragu introduces Chicken Tonight simmer sauces, and suddenly everybody's saying,
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight, chicken tonight.
choose
Dude,
from
the
4 new
fucking-
sauces. Each one's made with real vegetables and herbs, so you can make dishes like country French chicken and chicken cacciatore. Just brown the chicken, simmer, and serve.
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken
Great
tonight,
ad.
New Chicken Tonight
Fucking
simmer
what an ad.
sauces from Ragu.
chicken tonight.
That's how you market.
Dude, ads were better back in the day. Advertising
better.
agencies used to just be like, it was pigs that were flawed, and they drank and they smoked and they cheated on their families, and that was wives or men or women. They cheated on their partners, they did drugs, and they just came up with ideas.
Mate, the brand is called Chicken Tonight. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
And you pair that into I feel like chicken tonight.
And just
like chicken tonight.
wait, we're just gonna get a bunch of people just fucking bocking like chickens around the street.
I feel like chicken tonight. Yes, so do I.
madmen.
So do I.
Eddie, it's been a great week for those in the business of wanting to get hydrated and take your multivitamins.
Seriously, if you're looking to take your health a little bit more seriously than you are, which is in a lot of cases non-existent, then Good Day's right up everyone's alley, right? So that's job done. Tick. Looked after your nutritional health. Then you're like, fuck, am I doing really dirty, wet, yellow, disgusting, smelly wheeze? Am I dehydrated? Am I one of the 8 out of 10 Australians?
Does he
I am.
hydrated? Yeah.
Go to begoodhealth.com.au. Daylight's on sale now. It's fucking terrific. Taking the world by storm. It is super nice to drink.
I got to be honest, the feedback has been fantastic.
Yeah, it
which
has.
I'm happy about.
Yeah.
And obviously, if the feedback was awful, I may not come out here and lead with that information, but the feedback has been particularly good. begoodhealth.com.au.
Code Dribblers, 10% off.
Should we dribble?
Yeah, let's dribble and get the fuck out of here.
The tequilas have gone down well today.
Yep, they have. Yep. They really have. There's no point denying it.
Just trying to get my headphones on. I actually had chicken last night. Just given the conversation we were having. Buttered chicken. Steph made buttered chicken.
I had chicken too. I was over at the Dumbrells. I had Kazi Greek. So I had like Greek chicken.
You went over to Mossy?
Yep.
Hello.
Their cousins are in town, wanted to see Sooks.
Yeah, right. You don't tell them to come around. You go, hoy, on
They're
our
coming
terms.
around on Friday.
Our terms.
They're coming around on Friday.
Buff's town, Buff's terms.
Oh, you cunts talk so much shit about Buff, man. That was so How fucking dare you disrespect Buff?
That's dribble, mate.
Just one comment that got under my skin.
Hello, boys. It's the Woo Woo Dribbler here. And I just want to say that I would do some naughty, diabolical acts to have the punters and dribblers up and running during this latest Tigers debacle.
I bet you would.
I would give my first child, who is currently sitting comfortably in my left nut, maybe my right nut, I'm not sure, to see some Scotty Bellotti memes about the current situation. So, fuck you to the Magoos who caused it to be shut down.
Hey, Gabe, keep making noise over there, mate.
This is what the punters and dribblers was designed for. Days like this.
Listen,
yeah, okay.
You're
come
right.
on.
No, you're right. Oh, he's still going.
No, I want to
You're
say
right.
something. I want to say something. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. So
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
Not all of you, but some of you mistreated the group.
Yeah.
And that's why it's gone.
Yeah.
And so for moments like this where you go, fuck, I love the punters and dribblers, well, you shouldn't have made our life difficult.
Yeah. It became problematic and difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and
so-
that's your fault.
Yeah.
Not your fault specifically.
No, you, but just people. You.
So,
Listen, I'll say this. Here's an Easter egg for Easter. There is a new page that's already been created. There is one out there.
No, I know. And there's a graphic been made.
Yeah, it's there, so you could find
Was the sun? The sun was. I think the sun's rising.
Listen, there is something there if you can find it. And maybe we'll wait until there's a certain amount of people requesting to enter.
Can you request to enter it now?
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
How many people have asked?
No idea. I haven't even looked at it because I don't even. Do you know how freeing it's been not having to worry about this fucking
That's what
thing?
That's what I'm saying. So people come whinging, why can't I go, well, why'd you make my life difficult? Why'd you annoy the fuck out of me? Do you know what I mean? Why'd you make misogynistic, homophobic, racial
Racist
fucking comments?
And again, that was the minority of you, but unfortunately we had to deal with it.
But like, did happen, right? Why didn't you get Dribble and Yarn? That's
The thing was, when it started, it was the purity of Dribble and Yarn, and it was people just wanted to have a good time.
Yep.
And dribble and yarn and make memes and shit on each other. That's fine. I like that. That's good fun. But it's when dum-dums don't understand. And then right, we had to start a fucking, well, I don't even know if it's incriminating. It's not really. But we had to start like a WhatsApp group for people that we banned. And then we had to screenshot why you were banned and have it in a WhatsApp group. So then when you dumb fucks are like, why have I been kicked out? It's like, because you were fucking racist. Oh, sorry, dude. It'll never happen again. Yeah, I know it won't happen again because you're not coming back in.
So that's why we don't feel anything.
Like it. Yeah, it's honestly...
It's freeing.
We miss the memes though, but listen.
But you are absolutely right that this would have pumped during this
it would have
saga.
Pumped. Manly would have pumped. Dill would have pumped. Fucking Thurston Lenyu would have pumped. Although there probably would have been some people that made some fucking racist shit about Thurston Lenyu.
No. I would have hated
that. Would have sucked.
I would have hated Thurston Lenyu.
That would have sucked. That one.
Thurston
That would have
Lenyu.
been some absolute dead shits trying to be like, oh well, actually.
Because it would have been, you know what it would have been.
It would have been dumb cunts.
It would have been, why the fuck are you supporting Ezra? I'm like,
oi, well, actually, dude, it's like, no, you're an idiot.
Why didn't you talk about Ezra? Like they go, why didn't we did talk about Ezra?
We did. Everyone did. He fucking crashed into a fucking car with children. We did. Now listen, we're obviously venting here because the question asked for it.
No, you asked me to.
You asked and you've received. All we're saying is that it has been one of the great breaths of fresh air, being free of the punters and dribblers, whilst also being a time of mourning where there have been great opportunities. But if you want to make some funny memes and shit, or you think there's something worth doing, worth Dulux, send in your memes and we'll post them if they're good. Scotty Bellotti, where you at, dog? Send them in and we'll post them. We'll credit you.
Like Scotty,
we might even put the punters and dribblers banner at top.
Scotty, I know that you're sitting at home and you've come up with a great welcome back punters and dribblers post. I already know you've got that loaded up, I'm guessing, but I know you do. Why don't you just send shit in, dog? We'll post it.
If you're one of the more talented creators, we caught up with Matthew Mace recently at a golf day. He putted all right.
Well, he made a 30-footer.
He did.
Oh,
anyway,
let's move on. We're getting bogged down.
We are. Techies in that.
Hey boys, just thought I would give you a Raiders update from your chat about Jamal. So the story is, Ricky wants Jamal, obviously we know that, but the club can only offer him that 1-year deal. Sort of similar to what happened with John Rapana last year. Ricky sat down with Jamal and gone, this is what we can offer you. If there's an offer out there better for you, for your family, go take it. We don't want you to take it, but like whatever's best for you. And so that's why he's been sitting down with Jamal and nearly crying because he wants him to stay. But obviously, if what's best for his family is to go to Manly and make a bit more cash for a bit longer, then that's what he's going to do. Also, the story with Tommy Starling, he's not old. We've just signed a Brayley and we've got Owen Paddy. So the writing's on the wall for Tommy, unfortunately. Also, rumours he's going to Manly as well. So just keep poaching our players. Love that. I'll go see you boys.
Thank you, Dribblette. I would say this, we're not poaching your players if you're just letting them walk out the door. Poaching is like a poacher. We're on the savannah and we're shooting your animals.
We've got no time for poachers.
We're not poaching people.
First things first, shout out to dribblettes everywhere.
Yep.
I think that goes without saying.
Past, present, emerging.
Second thing I'll say is shout out to Tom Starling and the Starlings.
Generally speaking.
Beautiful people.
Can I say this though? She's like, well, sorry, we've got fucking Jaden Brayley and Owen Paddy. Starling has done nothing to indicate that he isn't better than both of them.
Jaden Brayley, Sharks hooker?
No, that's Caden Brayley, Shaden. They've got Cadens and Shadens and Jadens. Blake, sorry.
You're right.
Blake. But
Blake
it's BLYKYE or something.
Is it spelled BLAYKE?
BLAYKE, yeah.
And then Jaden is JAYDEN.
Are they brothers?
Yes. And the Brayley is BRAYLEIGHY or something. Like, it's fucking... there's so many Y's, dude. Which is why you know they're good.
Yeah.
But, like... And I like Jaden Brayley, who the Raiders have signed from Newcastle. Sharks, Newcastle, now to the Raiders. Tommy Starling's fucking ripping.
I like Tommy Starling. And in an age where it's good to have a bloke that can play a bit of hooker off the pine, a la what Melbourne Storm were doing with one Brendan Cheese and one Harry Grant, makes sense. Like, Tommy Starling's got pine in him. If you want to go in that direction.
He's starting right now, isn't he? Is Tommy Starling starting for him?
Yeah.
Right. So everyone just calm down about Tommy fucking Starling.
But I'm saying just because you sign Brayley doesn't mean Tommy Starling needs to leave.
No, but they've got Owen Paddy, who's this new emerging Paddy. He's this new emerging guy that everyone fucking is horny for.
Paddies are still Paddies, dude.
I get ya. What I'm saying is...
Or is this a Paddy Pimblett?
No, but the way that this dribblette, shout out to all dribblettes, the way that she just characterised that to me was like, sorry, Tommy, you got to go because we've got Brayley and Paddy. But I'm like, fucking Starling is good.
Starling played 64 minutes on the weekend and Paddy played 16.
I would also say that if I'm reading between the tea leaves,
that's not a saying, but yep.
Reading between the lines or reading the tea leaves from what Ricky Stewart said on the weekend is he is a huge Tom Starling guy.
Ricky's a huge fan of everyone that he's got, but then, you know, when it comes to re-signing him, it feels like that's when that changes.
Well, not necessarily. A lot of the time they want to leave as opposed to...
Yeah, I know, but he's
who does he say no to?
Well, so he said to Jamal a couple of weeks ago, if you can go get a good deal for your family, you can go. And then on Monday...
Did we get to the bottom of that?
Well, then on Sunday or whenever the game was, he's like, we want to keep him. It's like, you're gaslighting me now.
Saturday night.
Gen Z saying, gaslighting. You're gaslighting
me now.
You just said I could go if I got a good deal. Now you're saying Manly are trying to fucking break the law and blah, blah, blah. Like, what is it? Do you want me?
Or not?
Hey, Seb, you got that vape on you, dog?
Let's move on. How many more dribbles we got?
We got a few.
Good couple. Go on, Ed.
Hey, boys. 2-point dribbler here, mate. I'm from the fellow that informed you about the Newcastle Resto Bar originally. Mate, went in there the other night, absolutely pumping. You have no idea what sort of clientele they get through there with the amount of punters and dribblers that sitting at tables. I think you've pretty much built that business up to what it is at the moment in Newcastle. I didn't see many old people in there. They were all young fellas wearing punters and dribblers hats. I just want to give you guys a pat on the back for that. Cheers, boys.
Fucking oath. Can the Resto Bar have they ever reached out to us?
No, but they know who we are.
Well, that doesn't count for shit.
We spoke to them directly a couple of years ago when we went up to Dubbo.
You just feel like Big Curry would reach out if everyone in the fucking restaurant's got a punters and dribblers hat on?
What? Like, what's going on? Either we start our own Indian restaurant, which I don't have the bandwidth to do, or they just cut us in.
But they'll also come from the perspective of we serve quality Indian food at a reasonable price. And if you think you can compete with that, good luck.
Yeah. But I just want to be involved, or at least, like, invited to a meal. Can we not be invited to a fucking meal?
Is it too much to ask for a comped butter chicken?
I'm sorry that I might want a fucking cheesy naan on the house, given how much promo we've done.
Is it wrong for me to want to wake up one day and go, and to tell my daughter, your dad's been comped butter chicken before?
Or see the cheesy naan you're eating for breakfast? Dad got that on the house.
Well, Daddy, what do you do for work? Daddy gets comped butter chicken.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Daddy will roll up butter chicken into a cheesy garlic naan with some yogurt and mint sauce, with maybe a fucking a samosa or two, or an onion bhaji, and he's gonna get to work. That's what Dad does, Suki.
Do you get it?
You getting it?
Am
yet?
I in any way unclear?
Yeah, you respecting me yet?
Yeah, jog on.
Yeah. Anyway, invite us, man.
Back
We
to
also, we'll fly to Dubbo for I would like, if we could have at the original Indian Resto Bar, a day of days where it's shut down for the punter and the dribbler, and we have a full Indian feast where we fly in, red carpet sitch, not just for us, but just red carpet event. And
Could you imagine if we had a baggy grand long lunch out
Dude,
there? And chartered a flight?
But we couldn't have it on that date, so we need to change one. We need to change it. Because that time of year is fucked.
No, you just move it forward.
Let's do that. I think that's what this year is.
You'd tell you what you'd call it. You'd call it Solstice M1, which is short for -1, which is the 21st of November. Very doable.
Listen, that's very doable. And
wonder how much it costs to charter up. Now I'm talking out my ass.
No. Don't start chartering. We're already giving them fucking.
I know.
We'll get them. We'll pay for lodging.
Yep.
We'll pay for lodging.
Yeah, at the
potentially.
Cattleman's.
Yeah, Cattleman's. Lodging at the Cattleman's and a kick-on venue.
Yeah.
If we can get the whole thing locked down for us.
G'day, Tom and Eddie and the rest of the boys there. Can't think of a funny nickname for myself, so my name's Charlie, so I'll just call myself the Charlie Dribbler.
Great.
Just at work on a Tuesday morning, look after a lot of grassy parkland areas, mowing and snipping and all that sort of stuff. And I've just, in this long grass that I'm currently chopping back, I've just snipped in a big poo. Assuming dog. Really hoping it's not a human. For me, Tuesday's the worst day of the week. This is added to that, but I'm just trying to think of if there's a way that I can flip this. You know how people say when you get shit on by a bird, some say it's good luck? Is there any way I can say snipping dog poo is good luck? My legs are covered in a bit of shit now. I stink like poo, and I'm just trying to somehow turn a positive spin on this. Any help would be much appreciated.
Okay. Just a note before we leave. Cody has sent us something about the Tigers that we will have to circle back to at the end of these dribbles. Tobler, remind us of that. This guy's talking about whether you could call a dog shitting on, you accidentally whippersnip a dog poo, good luck. I'd say no. This happened to me 2 days ago, though. This is an aside. Went to the beach with my wife and three children. And North Bondi, there's a kiddie pool, right? Some of you will not be able to understand this because I'm going to show Edward. But you know where the kiddie pool is? If this is the north end, kiddie pool is here. You walk in down along the kiddie pool. There's a set of stairs that goes back up to the promenade, and you can walk under those stairs to another little rock pool. So I'm standing on this side of the stairs here, Tom here, and I'm trying to just rock Hazel in her pram to sleep. And I'm standing there, and I'm like, sunny day, obviously I'm at the fucking beach. I'm like, where the fuck's this water coming from? What's going on? Above me, someone walking their dog has stopped and started pissing on one of the handrails above me, and I am getting pissed completely onto by a dog. Like hat, shoulders, face, arms. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I look up and there's this little fluffy white lint ball piece of shit of a dog just pissing all over me.
That's rugby league.
Is that good luck? It doesn't feel like it.
No.
It does not feel like it.
I think the luck comes into it because of the perceived rarity of it. So in if you've got to imagine that a bird shitting down onto a 2D map essentially is what it is. It's unlikely to hit someone.
Yeah, the chances.
And
of
if
happening.
it does, then it's lucky. If you're whippersnippering long grass, I'm here to tell you, you're going to hit shit. You just are.
You are.
Dogs like to shit in long grass. If you're underneath a rail where there's a dog-heavy traffic area, you're going to get pissed on from time to time. Not that lucky. Sorry.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I feel like maybe mine is a bit more lucky, but I do understand. I do respect where you're
So I
coming
can't
from.
help you. Sorry, mate.
I respect where you're coming from. I just need you to know that.
Can't help you. Sorry.
You're trying don't shorten it up. I want you to know I respect you.
No, but I didn't shorten it up. I went on a big rant about it being luck.
I just want you to know that I respect your position.
Thanks. Because it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I jumped into the ocean.
All right, last one.
Hey boys, a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory here, but Manly, unfortunately for you guys, went to shit after the whole Pride jersey saga. Do you think Penrith are potentially in that sort of era after they went for the gold jersey in Vegas and are struggling a fair bit this year? Just thought, love to hear your opinion.
So I think what he's trying to say here, Ed, is that Manly went the Pride jersey, which obviously, we'll leave that there. But Penrith, their gold jersey in Vegas had like 4 premiership markers on it. So maybe it's like jinxy sort of vibes.
It's hindsight jinx that you're looking at, though.
Yeah.
It's got to be a stronger feeling in the moment, I think. Don't you?
No, I'm with you. It's got to be like overtly.
Like you can't go after 5 weeks. Oh, that's what it was, because you could apply that to fucking anything. Whereas in the moment you got to go, oh, that's not good for business.
Yes, you can't hindsight.
Oh,
you can't.
that ain't good for business.
Yeah, fair. I agree. All right, that's Dribbles. Now just quickly back to Tigers. One more thing before we go. James Hooper. Heard of him? Scoops Hoops. Fox Sports News. Truth behind, and he's a big Tigers fan, so he'd be fucking fuming. He doesn't have hair to lose. He'd be losing his eyebrows. Tigers. Truth behind Tigers bombshell Galvin call and the comment teammates couldn't cop. The narrative about the West Tigers demanding senior leadership, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to try and just skip through this.
So, yeah, but just on that quickly.
I don't want to read this whole thing.
Benji made the decision to drop him and then asked the senior players if they supported his line of thinking. Luai and Appy didn't go calling for him to be dropped.
Wait.
That's what that first couple of lines of that
So
article
Luai
was
and
saying.
Appy didn't want him to be dropped.
Not that they didn't want to,
They were
but
asked.
the narrative about them demanding he be dropped is incorrect.
Okay.
Benji made the decision, then asked the senior players if they supported his line of thinking. They all did, but the Tigers coach, Benji ultimately made the call.
It's funny because the fucking narrative was that Benji and Shane Richardson were like, we aren't going to drop him in the leadership group.
That's
We're
the
like,
problem.
no.
That's the problem with these fucking all-consuming rugby league topics is that, like, you're going off inconsistency and, in some cases, lies.
Could you argue, and there may be more in this article that you can get to here, Tobler, but the Tigers' handling of this initially felt strong and good and like we're not going to be fucked with. And then now with the chaos of it and how fucked it's been and the players bagging him out and all this shit and the misinformation, it's like it actually almost kind of feels like the way the Tigers handle this. Like Manly, Daly, they're not the same thing, but Daly leaves and that's like from the teammates saying nothing. The club, there's some shit show stuff about it. Whereas this has just felt chaotic in the extreme, and maybe it speaks to the fact that Tigers generally, where everyone's thinking like, oh, this is the Tigers turning a corner, they're like, fucking, we're not going to bloody fall for this. It's like, you're still chaos.
It's got a bit of David Moyes about it. Now, if you're confused about what I'm talking about,
Which I am.
David Moyes was the coach of Everton and was tapped on the shoulder by Alex Ferguson when he left to take over the club. Now, people provide evidence as to the fact that Moyes was out of his depth when he brought United out to Sydney for a fucking exhibition match and walked the playing group down Bondi Beach. And they're like, you don't get what you've got. That's the dumbest fucking thing you would do. maybe there's an element of Benji Marshall.
Wait, say it again. Why is it bad that he walked him down Bondi Beach?
You don't walk because they got fucking mobbed near to death.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Maybe it's a case of Benji hasn't seen enough winters where a story like this breaks, a big one. He should have sat down the seat of leadership and go, you shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
No one talks to the media. Fucking no one. And we deal with this internally.
And no
we
one posts
bury it.
hentai porn.
But like, does that happen at Melbourne? No. Does that, like the leaky ship, like leaky...
Loose lips
sink ships, right? And the more people talk about it, the more fuel is added to the fire. Elite fucking clubs are run with like tight lips.
Yeah.
And maybe there's an element of with what you're saying that this has been poorly held by the managed by the Tigers. Is that maybe Benji should have been like, you all shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up about this thing.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. Completely makes sense.
And so the other key point from the article...
So is he out of his depth?
What was that, Topper?
The other important point of this article is yesterday morning when all the players came in for training, Benji asked Galvin if he wanted to address the playing group. There was no pressure, didn't have to talk if he didn't want to. He ended up accepting it and then essentially told the players, you do you and I'll do me.
Well, okay. Essentially told him that?
Galvin essentially told the West Tigers playing group, you do you and I'll do me, is exactly what's been reported.
Unfortunately, I can't take essentially. Like, because you can say essentially what he said is you do you and I'll do me, but the way that you phrase that makes him sound like a complete piece of shit. If he'd said, hey, boys, sup, how you doing? Lachie Galv here, how you doing? Dun 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 dun. He walked on to dun 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 dun. Galvanize, and then comes in and goes, "You do you, I'll do me." You're one of the great fuckwits of all time. That's clearly not what happened. Be like, he basically said, "You do you, I'll do me."
Can I tell you what a young ELS thinks?
First was named DBH.
Is that, as Chamis put it, this is verging on bullying now. The RLPA is now involved. This feels like a club given a scoop to a scoop hoop, being like, no. The players didn't fucking ask him to be dropped. The coach didn't. He asked for the support. No. He wasn't asked to fuck. He wasn't putting on the spot. He wanted to say something.
Then he said
and when he did, he said, blah, you do you and I do me, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Are we writing a fucking movie here?
You're right.
What are we talking
Let's
about?
frame this back on him just being a fucking... He asked for all of it and then...
If this came out 2 days ago, yeah, but it didn't. It's come out in the aftermath with the RLPA involved for potential bullying.
Yeah, but also, it's like essentially what he said.
No.
Well, what did he say? Because essentially what he said and what he actually said is not the same thing.
Not buying it. Not
you
buying
do
it.
you, I'll do me.
Oh, do. Nah.
All right, can't catch you
See
later.
you later.
Could you two just not talk anymore?